If that's about resist Trumpism, if there was a student on your campus wearing a Make America Great Again cap, would that be okay?
I don't take, other people's political beliefs in into and disrespect them on the basis of that. But if a student had one, I would say, what does that mean to you? Don't you recognize that wearing a hat like that is, for many people, it's like walking into a native reservation wearing a shirt that says, it's okay to be white or something.
Well, you never know what you're going to see on the streets of Toronto. We just happened upon a Volkswagen with Massachusetts license plates, and it was filled with political stickers like End Torture Now and Resist, and of course the Bernie Sanders 2016 bumper sticker. And two things spring to mind. One, I think that kind of car here at Avenue Road and Bloor is probably in friendly waters, given the political mindset of downtown Torontonians. And secondly, we're hoping to see if we can actually speak to the owner of the car and get some further insight on his political commentary via bumper sticker. Hi, sir. My name's David Menzies with Rebel Media. Yes. Very good. We're here for another assignment, but we're reading all your bumper stickers.
Oh, yes.
And we would just love to get an American perspective on what's going on in the U.S. I see you're a Bernie Sanders supporter.
I am. I was, and I still am. But I think this year with 20 Democratic candidates, we have plenty of choice, and I think we're going to look at all the candidates as closely as possible and make our decision.
Okay, so you're not necessarily committed to Bernie for this year, then?
I think I'm committed to Bernie in general, but I'm hoping that, because I think that he's given a lot of positive examples to other candidates.
The idea, Bernie as a staunch supporter of socialism, we've seen how that works around the world. Do you think there's a significant critical mass of Americans that would buy into socialism, sir?
Oh, yeah, I think definitely. I think that socialism is just a word, okay? I think that what we had under FDR in the 1930s was a form of socialism. We took care of our citizens. We had what we would call a society. Nowadays, what we have is neoliberal capitalism run rampant, in which there is no control, there is no guarantees for citizens for a lifestyle in which they can count on decent public education. They cannot count on decent health care. They cannot count on, at the university level where I work, I think there's also been a real degradation of funding from state and federal government. They want to cut out our Fulbright scholarship programs for overseas. So also the ways in which we learn about other countries like Canada has also been really hit hard. I'm here with my students to teach them about Canada, to teach them about how bilingualism works in this society, how multiculturalism works in society, and we have to also always be aware of how we treat other people in our society. That's what makes a good society.
And yet, sir, if you look at the record in the U.S. under Trump, you have to admit, if you look at the unemployment rates, the standard of living, what's happening in the stock market, even when you look at Latino and black rates of unemployment, they're at historic lows. So could you make an argument that Trump's policies are working for America?
I would say no, because the reason is that he's running up historic deficits to pay for all these things, and that's not conservative at all. Also, he's creating a situation in which he's pitting people against one another, even if he may say that blacks and Latinos are benefiting from a certain economic situation. He has created that situation artificially through a tax break to the rich, which does not trickle down. I think the whole trickle-down neoliberal myth has to be debunked once and for all, because it does not, it's not based in reality.
But sir, could you imagine if the argument against Trump is running up a deficit, what would the deficit be under Bernie Sanders? I mean, if you're saying free medical care, free tuition, wouldn't that bankrupt the nation?
Is Canada bankrupt because they have single-payer universal health care?
Well, by the same token, we have a large deficit in debt too, and I can tell you it's no utopia given that If you are sick, you can literally die waiting in line for your operation.
I think that most people in Canada would still prefer their system 1,000 times over ours. Question is that socialism doesn't mean bankrupting countries. We've seen many countries throughout the world that have very good social systems that are not bankrupt. Denmark, Sweden, you have the UK, in which they have the National Health Service, and there's not a problem there. You have a two-tier system in Germany, which is also quite healthy. So I don't think that you can really generalize and say that socialism is this big boogeyman that's going to ruin the United States, because it hasn't ruined Canada, it hasn't ruined Scandinavia, it hasn't ruined most of Europe, and I think that all we have to do is stop using that word as if it were something that was by nature destructive, because it's not.
But so the examples you've given with those nations, I wouldn't consider that true socialism. I would look at a country like Venezuela that's embraced true socialism.
No, that's not. No. That's a totalitarian. That's an authoritarian dictatorship. I think that what we have here in Canada, a respect for bilingualism and multiculturalism is something we always have to keep in mind. We have to be respectful to all citizens in society, whether they are migrants, whether they're refugees. I am very thankful to be able to bring my students here, where they can see a country where refugees and migrants are still being given the basic human respect and dignity that they deserve. Thank you very much.
One last question, sir. If that's about resist Trumpism, if there was a student on your campus wearing a Make America Great Again cap, would that be okay?
I don't take, other people's political beliefs into and disrespect them on the basis of that. But if a student had one, I would say, what does that mean to you? Don't you recognize that wearing a hat like that is, for many people, it's like walking into a native reservation wearing a shirt that says, it's okay to be white or something. It's just not respectful. The freedom of speech always has to be based on a respect for other people, and I think that's something that Canadians understand very well, perhaps better than Americans.
Well, that was an interesting insight into, life in America and life on campus with that family up from Massachusetts. He was wearing his political beliefs all over his car via bumper stickers. I don't think he convinced me over to his side. As a matter of fact, I think I'm now motivated to put my Rebel Media Libranos bumper sticker on the old Menzoid mobile. Hopefully it won't be vandalized. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.